All right, Janet, welcome to Empower Network TV. Janet Zipper.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I'm excited you're here. And were you talking about embracing your power today? That's something that I'm interested in. So I'm curious to hear your story of how you came to embrace your own power and how you now help others embrace their power. So Janet, where does your story begin? Where does this? Yeah, please.
All right. Well, I started my journey about 20 years ago. I was very, very sick, and I really couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. I was in a very bad marriage, an abusive relationship, and I was going from one doctor to another, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. And nobody tied the fact that I was under so much stress and duress from being in this abusive marriage, that it was causing so many issues on so many different levels, from physical to emotional to spiritual. I mean, I was spiraling downhill, and I got to the point where I was having one infection in my body, infections, sinus infections, UTIs, you name it, I caught it, cold, flus. I mean, my immune system basically did not exist. So, I sought out different, medical interventions, which weren't helping me at all. And luckily, I had a really great doctor. She was my primary physician. And, she basically told me, if you don't leave this man, he's going to kill you. Are you willing to die for this person? And I said, heck no. So, she, unfortunately, because she only was taught conventional medicine, she couldn't really like help me in the other ways that I needed to be helped, with my anxiety that I was dealing with, emotional. It was all emotional. So, I sought out alternative medicine. So I had a friend of mine whose husband had severe kidney and liver issues as well as I was experiencing. And he had gone to a naturopathic physician in Asbury Park, New Jersey. So she said, why don't you try him? Because they told me, the doctors told me that I was going to have to go on dialysis because my kidneys were shutting down to the point where they couldn't even help me. All they were doing was throwing pain meds, antibiotics at me. So I said, okay, I'm willing to do anything at this point. So I went to him, and I could not believe the difference in the care that I received from this doctor. He dealt with me as a whole person. And he talked about, so what he did is he did like an intake with me, and I was with this doctor for like 3 hours. He asked me, what was going on with your life? How is your eating? What is your situation? He just really went in depth. And I had never, ever experienced that from a doctor. And it surprised me. But at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, this is the kind of care that I need. I need somebody to really care about me. So that began my journey of my healing journey with, alternative medicine. And I was always like really into alternative medicine as well. I grew up in California, and I moved to New Jersey. So, there was always that alternative health care available in California, more so than other areas of the country.
So you found out firsthand stress, cortisol, what that does over time. Because if you had stayed in a stressful situation, yeah, that'll be the end of you. Like how much did that shock you when you woke up to that reality that our bodies are not meant to carry stress long term? What was that like for you to?
Well, it was that aha moment because, here I was working at the time, I was in IT at the time, and I was, a systems manager. I was taking care of, a team of people, I had my job responsibility. But the interesting thing is that stress was manageable to me because it was almost kind of like I went to work as a relief to get away from my situation at home. So it was actually my safe haven, and I was around people who were very supportive, they uplifted me. And here's the thing that I noticed when I went to the naturopathic doctor. I thought to myself, it's interesting that even though I have stress at work, I was able to handle that stress because I was being, given positive affirmations. People were telling me, oh my God, you are, you're really good at what you do. So I was going to work and I was being uplifted, encouraged, and empowered. And then I would go home and get the total opposite. So, it's when I had that aha moment when the doctor said, that stress is killing you. I thought to myself, oh my God, he's so right. Because when I go to work, I feel great. As soon as I get home, I feel horrible. So, and I realized how important it is. Our environment creates our life. And if you're in the wrong environment, it doesn't matter like how much positive reinforcement you get anywhere else. But if you're living in a situation or environment that is sucking the life out of you, where you're being, you're being put down, having people, just basically, treat you like you're nothing, that's going to impact you, regardless of how much positivity you have around you. So, you are a product of your environment. And that just like hit home to me when he was teaching me this. And I was just like, wow.
I know that true. That's true for myself. And others watching this know that's true for them. But we become, they say, like the 5 people we're closest to. And if one of those people we're closest to, we're out of alignment with, and we shouldn't be with them, they shouldn't be with us, it ain't going to be good for either person. Because toxic for one person is toxic for both people. So it's like, it's hard to get out of those situations though sometimes, whether they're work, whether they're romantic, friendships. Is this the first time you've had to get out of something? Have you ever had to leave like friendships that weren't working for you or other jobs? Did you ever come across that, Janet?
Oh yeah, definitely. Since I became aware of, how your environment, does impact you, I'm the kind of person, because I'm a life coach and a wellness coach, I'm a healer. So I attract needy people and I attract narcissists. I attract people who, maybe don't have the best intentions because, I have something that they like, and that's my positivity, and I'm a healer, so I attract those type of people. So I always try to think the best of people. So I give people different chances, but I realized that I had attracted a couple of people into my life that were toxic and negative, and I realized that it was also draining me. And anytime that I was around that person, I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel, empowered. I felt like this person was just draining my energy. And that's how you can tell when somebody isn't good for you. If somebody is draining your energy, if you leave and you don't feel good and you feel down, you feel like your energy's been sucked out of you, that's when you know that that person is not good for you, or that environment as well. Because I've also worked in environments where there were toxic management, and you feel that as well. If you don't feel good wherever you're at, you have to understand and ask yourself, why do I feel this way? What is it that's causing me to leave here feeling so depleted, so down? And that negativity starts to affect your spirit, your soul, and also your body. You don't sleep very well, you feel anxious. So those are the some of the key things that you have to see, that wherever you're at, whether it's a person or a job, you have to ask yourself, is it worth having these people in your life? And is it worth staying at this job where this environment is toxic? And if you don't, it's going to impact you physically. It will, definitely.
So I'm curious, and how did you shift from IT or managing a team to life coaching? What did that look like for you? Or do
Well,
you still do both?
yeah, well, this is the interesting thing. I've had a couple of careers. I went from IT. I've always been okay. So let me back up a little bit. Since I was a kid, I've always been the kind of person where everyone goes to for advice. You know, the first memory I have of that is my mom told me, and I was 3 years old. My mom was a CPA. She told me that, I was sitting on her lap. She was with a group of friends, and, they were they were discussing something. And I don't even remember what my mom told me it was. But 3 years old, I said, how come you don't do this? And, my mom said that all the adults looked at me and they said, how old is your daughter? She's 3 years old. So as a child, even, I was wise beyond my years. By the time that I was 14 years old, I had already had created 3 businesses for myself. So, I've always been an entrepreneur and the kind of person who, sees life in a different way. So people have always come to me for advice. So wherever I worked, I was, going to get my coffee, people would approach me at school, wherever I was, even like, on the streets or in the grocery store, strangers approach me, like they start telling me their life story. And, it's just like a phenomenon that's happened to me since I was a little kid. So I've always done that alongside with, what I've always done, with work as well. So I went from IT to recruiting. One of the things that I loved about recruiting was that I was able to help people find jobs, which help them change their lives. So, I've always been the kind of person that loves to help people change their lives. So recruiting, I went from IT to recruiting, which was a good fit, but always have had my life and wellness coaching on the side.
You started 3 businesses by 14? That's a lot. What were the businesses?
So when I was 14, I had my own babysitting service, my own cleaning service, and then I would go to businesses and paint on their, how when businesses have on their windows, they have, signs like, sale or going out of business, and it's painted on the windows. I would do that. Actually, it was me and 2 other guys from art class. So I had this idea. I was in art class with these 2 guys, and I couldn't drive yet. So one of the guys had his license. So I said, okay, you're the driver. And another one of my friends, he could draw like me. So the 3 of us, I, convinced him to start this business with me. And so I had 3 businesses at the age of 14.
Okay, well, this makes a lot more sense. So you've always been working with ideas and people.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I'm very creative.
Yeah. So, okay, so what is next for you then? What's on the horizon for the rest of this year, Janet? Or 2024, what are you aiming at?
Well, my goal is to get into my life and wellness coaching full time, because that's my passion. I wrote a book called Embrace Your Power, and it's all most of my motivational inspiration quotes that I've been posting for the last, I think 2008 was when I started on Facebook. So since then, I've been posting motivational inspirational posts, and people have approached me and said, what, I really love this post, and I can't find it. So, I started going through and asking people like, what is it that, which post did you really like? And people started reaching out to me saying, hey, I would love it if I could have a book with all these, motivational posts. So, after like 5 years of having people tell me over and over and over again, I finally said, okay, I have to do this because, the universe is saying to me, hello, you got to do this, right? So it took me about a year because I had to go through all my social media and then, go through all the posts that had the most responses, and to see which ones really, resonated with people. So then I wrote my book. So, that was something that I accomplished. I was very proud of myself. So, when I did that, that was in 2018, I published my book. I thought to myself, you know what? There are so many people out there who really, really need to, help with their life, whether it be life coaching issues, wellness, so I started, doing workshops in New York and New Jersey, helping people to discover the root cause of their issues. So that's my passion, because a lot of times people go from doctor to doctor to doctor like I did, never know what the root cause of their issues are. And that's one of my passions, that I would love to help people, as many people as possible, discover the root cause of their issues so that they can be whole and well and vibrant. Everyone deserves to have a healthy, vibrant, life. So that's my passion and my mission.
Well, I see it beaming out of your face. That's beautiful. Now, do you run groups? Are you one-on-one? Do you have a Facebook group? What's
I mean, well, what I do is I do one-on-one, and basically right now I've just been doing one-on-one coaching with clients, and I'm going to be actually just posted on Facebook yesterday. I'm going to be starting my workshops again. I'm going to be doing them online and in person because even though like we've become after the pandemic, everyone was doing things online. There's a different aspect when you're in person. I'm not, because I'm a healer. I can only gauge certain things about a person when they're across a video from me. But when you're in person, I could feel that person's energy more clear than I can during a video call. I can assess things about them, body language. When I start asking them questions, you can sense the energy shift. There's so much more that you can gain from being in person than you can from being on a video. So, I'm going to start doing workshops in person as well as online. And I'm also, going to be doing them in New York City and in New Jersey. And what I want to do is I'm going to keep the group small. I'm going to keep them to be about 10 people at a time, because I want to be able to focus in my energy on, giving those 10 people my attention. And that's doable. But when you have a bigger crowd, it's a little different. I mean, obviously, if you're doing a speaking engagement, having a big audience is better than less sometimes. But here's the thing is that I want to be able to have 10 people come to my in-person workshops and then leave with empowered, knowing that they have the power to change their life, and that I was able to give them that attention so that they can start their journey of wellness, of healing, of wholeness. So, that's my passion, to do that.
Well, I love it. Well, then if you've been listening to Janet Zipper and you like what she's saying, reach out to her. Let her know in the comments. I'll be posting you in this, Janet, after we end the live interview. And thanks for the joy you have on your face. You can just see when you smile, your eyes light up, and that's beautiful. And you've lived it. So now it's your joy to help others live it too. And there you go. That's all you need in life, really.
Yeah. And one of the things I want to tell people too is I've been through so much trauma in my life, because a lot of times people can't they don't have the compassion, or they don't understand what someone's been through, so you can't relate, and you can't have that empathy. So I've been through so much trauma in my life and healed myself from it. And part of things that I like to tell people, if I did it, you can too. And people tell me, oh, you have no idea what I've been through. And I said, I bet you I do, because I've been through a lot. And I think that, one of the key things is sometimes people say, why did I go through this? Why? And they get into victim mentality. And instead of that, I have found that when you get into victim mentality, that's when you stop your healing. Instead of asking why, say, okay, why did this come to you? Because you had to learn something. You can't learn and gain wisdom, and you can't grow unless you go through something. If life was perfect, if we lived in a bubble and never experienced pain, sorrow, loss, grief, trauma, we would not be able to grow as people. And part of the growth is painful, but when you come out from the other side of it, you look back and say, wow, I'm so proud of myself, that I was able to be a victor, not a victim. You look at anything, you can be a victor and not, look at yourself as a victim. So that is so important.
Well said. There we go. That's how we'll end it, because that was beautiful what you just said. If you've been watching Janet Zipper on Empower Network TV or listening, please reach out and let her know what you appreciate about today. Janet, you are an absolute gift. And I love how you wrapped the entire thing up at the end there. That was just perfect. So I'll tag you in this. I'll send you the links and look forward to connecting again. So look, be expecting messages from me. I'll send you those links very shortly.
Okay, thank you. Can I say one more thing? I do have a
Yes.
website. I do have
Oh,
a
yes.
website, and they can find me on janetzipper.com, and they can schedule a session with me. They can find out a little bit more about me, what I offer. And also they can reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram. I'll be happy to answer anyone's questions.
Well, please drop those links after I tag you. Put them in the comments, please. Yeah, so
Thank you.
people can find you. Okay. Thanks so much, Janet. We'll chat soon. Thanks everyone for
Okay,
watching.
thank you. Thank you, everyone.